Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Welcome to my video. Today I'm going to talk about people to avoid, and this counts for dating, friendships, employers. This applies to everybody. So the first thing I want to talk about is that you don't need to make everybody feel better about themselves, okay? Because there are people that you may attract who kind of rely on you for some kind of validation or assurance, or honestly just very insecure, and there's like literally nothing you can do to make them feel better. It's like those kind of people where they feel bad about something and then you compliment them or you try to raise them up but they reject it. It's like, oh, I look so gross today, and then you're like, no, you're beautiful. Like, what do you mean? And they're like, no, like I'm not. Like, they basically, people who just do not accept compliments or any kind of positive reinforcement. These people are really in their head, honestly, and if there's nothing you can do to help them, then you might get stuck in this cycle of trying to uplift them, but it's just not working. So then you kind of feel useless in this dynamic, and also it's just bad energy. Genuinely, this is the one big thing, guys. The assurance that they're looking for, you cannot give them. Like, they don't want it from you, because if they wanted it from you, they would be satisfied. Sometimes people like this, their thinking and like their responses may go back to childhood and how their parents spoke to them, and sometimes people are seeking this validation that they don't even realize they really want from like members of their family. So that's to say that sometimes these people are seeking a validation, but it's not really, they don't really want it from you. So it's like literally no matter what you do, it's not going to make them feel any better, and then you're wasting your own time because you're putting energy into someone who is not reciprocating that. I personally will not accept anything less than positive energy into my life. I think I've learned many lessons and I've tried fighting for friends, fighting for people I care about, trying to fight to keep them in my life and work them in a way that still made me feel happy, but it just doesn't work, because it's like anytime you spend people like that and they're constantly projecting like these negative self-beliefs, I feel like in my experience, when I have been friends with people like this, I've also started to adopt their thinking. Like, not even in that I believed it, but it just, because it's like when you listen to a song and the song gets stuck in your head, like, you know, these affirmations and these statements will also kind of cling onto your mind, and then you're out here thinking you're ugly because Betty said that to you yesterday. Avoid those people. Secondly, avoid people who do not respect your boundaries. We knew this was coming. When someone doesn't respect your boundaries, straight up, they just don't respect you, and that's what it is. And I don't care, like, you could fight and argue for why you need to keep someone in your life, and this honestly happens so much, like in dating. Crazy. I like seeing this in so many relationships where you establish your boundaries, but the other person just like does not listen. The way I see this is there's multiple aspects to this. Sometimes people expect this unconditional love from you that is just not there. When you're so giving and people see that, they might think that no matter how hard they press you, you're still gonna be in their life. Some people genuinely just have like this craving to receive unconditional love. Maybe they didn't get it from childhood, and they certainly don't give that to themselves because if they did, they wouldn't need to seek that in others. And also, if you did, you would attract people like that anyway, because you are what you attract. That's another thing, guys. Honestly, you can tell if someone's all bark no bite based on who they hang around and how their life looks like. Like, if there's someone who's like, I always give myself unconditional love, like, and then you look at their life and they have people in their lives who straight up are disrespectful or just not good people, I think that's way more telling. Anyway, back to the original thing. Some people are seeking unconditional love because they didn't receive that, and so they kind of test you. They kind of see how much you can take, and if as soon as you have a boundary, and it's not even a personal thing to them, it's just like, this is just my boundary, and this would apply to you whether you were my dad, my cat, I don't care. Like, this would apply to anything and everything. So it's not personal, but they take it personally because to them, you're not unconditionally loving them. They feel that you don't love them enough, because if you did, you would put down that boundary. You need to avoid those people, because no matter how much you tell them how important your values and your boundaries are to you, they're not going to listen, because it's going to be a personal thing, like, to them. That just shows that they're only thinking about themselves. People who are constantly seeking things that surround their ego, so things that just validate them temporarily, you know, like just inflate their ego, they're never going to really care about you in a way that's fair, because they're prioritizing how they feel over the functionality of the relationship that you have with this person. When you start finding happiness within, and you start finding that satisfaction within, you are able to attract things that also satisfy you. It's like when people constantly live with a heavy heart, with a sad heart, they're looking for things, even if they are aware of it or not, they're seeing things that reinforce that. Well, it's okay to have periods of your life where maybe you're not feeling the best, like maybe you're sad for a period of your life, and that's fine, because it's how you feel. And sometimes sadness can be way more intense for others compared to some other people, and some people need to have that period of time where they're just living in their sadness, like maybe creating out of that sadness and getting to know themselves out of that sadness, and just like mourning, grieving. But the healthy method of going down that route is being aware that that is where you're at mentally, and knowing what will actually fulfill you long term, which is taking time for yourself, not entertaining this emotional availability with other people. And this, honestly, you see this a lot with people who like just break up, and they just get out of a relationship, and within a week they're out and they're, you know, seeing other people. But you know they're seeing other people, it's not with an emotional intent, it's with this intention to fulfill a hole in them, to fulfill this temporary satisfaction of maybe attention, like that could be sexual attention, that could be romantic attention, but you know that they're not doing that out of genuine care and genuine desire for a connection in a way that's respectful of the other person. They're doing that to fulfill their ego. And so be very mindful of when you're talking to someone who just sounds like they're speaking out of their ego. People who ask you how you are feeling, what would you like? People who are genuinely interested in getting to know you will make that apparent. And you can tell by the questions they're asking, how they're listening to you, the ways in which they reach out to you. If they're reaching out to you at like literally 11:30 p.m. asking like, hey, what's up? Girl, bedtime. Like, what do you mean? What is that? Be mindful, because there are people who actually do care about you and who will want to get to know you. And I think sometimes when we keep on meeting these people who don't really care about you, whose only interest is to use you to fulfill their ego, sometimes our self-worth goes down, because the way that they're treating us is for the purpose of them. And it is degrading. It's not empowering when someone is expecting you to live for them and to serve them. Think about how much your relationships affect your perception of yourself. Are these relationships actually bringing you up and making you feel empowered as an individual, with or without these people? As in, like, you know you don't need these people to be good and thriving, and these people make that known to you. Like, these are the people that are like, you are a strong person, you are a powerful person, I'm proud of you, I support every decision you make because I know that you know what's best for you. You know, those people are healthiest to be with. When it comes to people who kind of put themselves into every decision you're making, it's like, are you sure you want to do that? Like, why do you want to do that? Like, I think people who don't trust your capabilities, be on the fence with those kinds of people. Sometimes they'll make it about them and they'll worry about where they fit, what position they will fit into your life. It's very centered around them as opposed to you and what works best for you. People who respect your growth and honor that and want that for you, those people will make you feel more empowered and worthy. And those are the people that you need in your life, because you need to feel empowered in order to believe in yourself and continue to grow and thrive. Like, genuinely, it's like when a flower is among weeds in a dry grassland, like, the flower can't thrive. Be the flower that thrives in a meadow. Find the meadow people, you know. Be with people who are seeking to grow. There's a difference between being ambitious for the sake of like the fun it brings and the excitement of it, but without letting that tie to your self-worth and who you are as a person. And then there's people who use these gains in their life as a way to validate themselves. So, you know, just be mindful that there are people who are seeking to gain things to benefit how they feel about themselves. When I say grow, I mean more on a personal level. I want to be happy, I want to be fulfilled. Be people who genuinely seek to become wiser, smart people, open-minded people, like people who are seeking to grow, who listen. So I think being around people who ask deep questions, who have a curiosity for life, who are striving to grow and striving to understand are great people. You know, people who try to find the satisfaction within themselves will be more likely to know how to appreciate you as a person and as an autonomous being, and not in a way that's possessive and like, I need your validation. No. People who are seeking to grow are always the safest people because they will push you to get to where you want to be. You know, some friends, some people, you have an idea and you tell them this idea, you tell them this dream, and they start being kind of critical about it, you know, questioning the possibilities of things happening. These people, and I hate to say it, are genuinely small-minded. They're big-minded people out there who have big ideas and who dream big. Like, no matter what the circumstances, no matter what position they're in, they dream big, okay? Because maybe they have to in order to get out of wherever they're living. Maybe they just love creating and they find a passion in that and making big things, you know? But there are people who don't really get that. They're very realistic, for lack of a better word. I hate that word. I literally hate the word realistic. Y'all already know. Because there is no realistic. You define what that means for you. Genuinely, the only person who can tell you something is not realistic is yourself. As soon as you give in to what other people are saying about you can't do this, you can't do this, they have won. And I believe that till I die. There are people who will push you to be the best and the most powerful version of yourself, and those people are the ones that you need to be around. They will never let you say no to yourself. They will never let you say you can't do something. They're always going to push you to challenge yourself and to create and to embody what you want to be, because they know that that is the realest fulfillment. Believing in yourself and believing in your capabilities, like, there is a reason why you dream of things. And I really believe that you have a connection to your ideas, to your creativity. And when you have that, you act on it. You don't wait 5 years to act on an idea that you have today. You do it now, because that idea came to you for that timing for a reason. It's exciting when you are living with this optimistic, go-getter mindset, and people with that mindset always get what they want. Always. And people who don't believe that will never live their best life, honestly, because they're always thinking within limitation. They're always thinking within the capacity of what they believe to be their capabilities, but their capabilities go beyond their imagination. That is to say, to be around people who are seeking to help you grow as an individual. People who aren't worried about where they're gonna be if you prosper in life. Because you know that is just coming from a place of insecurity when someone's like worried about you getting too big or worried about you reaching your dreams and becoming this like powerful embodiment of yourself. People who don't feel empowered within themselves are not gonna like that, because they're always gonna see things as a competition. I saw this thing that was like, when you're dating an insecure man, he's gonna see you as his competition, not as his lover, because there's always some kind of projection of their insecurity. You know, this doesn't apply to just men, this applies to everybody, duh. When people are insecure and don't see the power that they have within themselves, they project that onto the world, and sometimes they do it in a way that will help them validate their ego still. So it's like, I'm gonna put you down because I don't feel good about myself, and by putting you down, it puts me up. So, you know, they see the world as the competition instead of seeing themselves as their own competition. You want people who support you as an individual. I hope that helped you guys out, and I'm gonna make more. Once again, I try to keep these videos short. If you have any ideas or any requests as to what I can talk about in future videos, comment, because I will read them. I will read them. That being said, love you guys so much. Have the bestest day ever.